Many within the New York Knicks organization are interested in trading for Bruce Brown, so we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video. But real quick, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. 85% of viewers are not subscribed, and you do not want to miss anything we're posting here. We're posting news, rumors. Darielle and I are hopping on, having fun conversations about the Knicks and just sometimes basketball in general, honestly. You don't want to miss it, so make sure you're subscribed. But let's just jump right in. The Knicks reportedly have internal interest in yet another trade with the Raptors, this time for Bruce Brown, the combo guard forward who helped the Denver Nuggets win the 2023 NBA championship, according to Ian Begley of SNY. Now, here's the deal. Bruce Brown, kind of similar to a guy like Josh Hart, who the Knicks already have under contract for a while. Also, while Bruce Brown has a team option at the end of this season, I said I didn't really know what option he had, which is true. Sometimes you just forget things. I'm sorry. But look, he has a team option at the end of the day. The Knicks can opt in and then use him after the season for a trade along with multiple first-round picks to net them a star player. We just saw Bruce Brown be the marquee player traded for a star. We could see that happen again with the Knicks after he spends around 6 months with the team, just trying to help them get as far in the playoffs as possible. But again, kind of similar to Josh Hart, to where I think there's other options that could be better, perhaps like a Terry Rozier, maybe even a Tim Hardaway Jr., which we'll get into a little bit right now. If you look right here, the Knicks are dangling Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, and draft compensation for a potential upgrade. The money works out pretty much perfectly that's exactly what the Knicks would trade for Bruce Brown. It would probably be either a few second-rounders or one protected first. If I had to guess, maybe the Mavericks first. I think that's the most likely first-rounder for the Knicks to trade. But we don't really know what's going to happen, and I'm not exactly sure if Bruce Brown is the best option because of the Josh Hart thing. I mean, if you look at Brown's stats, they're good. I mean, he's putting up 12 points, nearly 5 rebounds, gets 3 assists, shoots 47.5% from the field, but he's only shooting 33% from 3. Is that bad? No, by no means is that bad, but I don't know. I think there's kind of a redundancy with that type of player with the Knicks right now, where they could go for someone else who makes a little more sense with the team. And if you look here, from Toronto's perspective, it seemed to indicate a shift into rebuilding mode when they traded Siakam. Brown has that $23 million team option and would hit free agency if his team doesn't exercise it. So it's hard to imagine that he's with the next contending Raptors team, which does make sense. The Raptors are definitely going to build around Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. Two of our favorites here at Knicks Digest. They spent a lot of good years with the Knicks, and I'll always be a fan of them, along with Jakob Poeltl and a few other pieces and and the draft picks that they're pulling in now. Also, Raptors are doing this well, and the Knicks could help him out, give him another first for Bruce Brown. I just don't think Bruce Brown is the guy for the Knicks. I feel like I keep denying, guys. It's more just I want someone who can create their own shot off the bench. If we're going to make a trade, which I think we should, just land a guy who can shoot off the bench, create shots for himself, hopefully for others too. That highlights guys like Malcolm Brogdon, Terry Rozier. I think they'd both be perfect for the Knicks and could definitely be a good move for them. Now, if we just take a look here, what Ian Begley had to say is that there is some internal interest in going after Bruce Brown. The Knicks were his first meeting in free agency. Now with Brown going to Toronto, he might be available, and Begley knows there are some people with the Knicks that would love to bring him in ahead of the deadline. And by people, I am going to take a guess that he means one Thomas Thibodeau, because Tibbs just loves those type of Swiss Army knife players. He loves Josh Hart. Bruce Brown and Josh Hart would probably just get all the Knicks bench minutes, and the Knicks would go 7 deep. No, I'm kidding. But also not fully kidding, if I'm being real. Like, look, think about it. Think about it. How Tibbs works. There's not a clear backup center option. He's already said Josh Hart can play center in some rotations. If Mitch doesn't come back, because Mitch will come off the bench, Hartenstein's playing too well and Mitch is going to come off the injury. If Hartenstein is off the court, there is a chance that Josh Hart would be the backup center. Am I kind of kidding? Yeah. I think Mitch is going to come back, and if he does, and the Knicks do trade for Bruce Brown, I promise you, that once playoffs begin, the Knicks will go 8 deep, and coming off the bench will both be Bruce Brown and Josh Hart, along with Mitchell Robinson. And is that a bad bench unit? No, that's a great bench unit, but the redundancy is crazy. There's not that much shooting right there. So, I think it would be kind of funny, but I also do not think that's going to happen in all seriousness. I think the Knicks really should target a Terry Rozier or Malcolm Brogdon, or even a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. if he becomes available, because the the Mavericks just have a lot of similarities between their best players. Their three best players this season have been Kyrie, Luka, and Timmy. They're all kind of similar in their own ways. They want to score the ball. They don't really play the most defense in the world. I could see them making a move. Now, if we do look right here, sorry, wrong thing. If we look at Quentin Grimes' stats, someone who the Mavericks do have interest in, he's averaging 7 points, 2 rebounds a game. He shoots 39% from the field. He's playing limited minutes. He should be playing more. He deserves to be playing more. But, Tibbs, it's really just, this is a Tibbs thing. I guess Grimes sort of fell out of favor with him. Grimes gets the least amount of minutes of anyone who actually plays off the Knicks bench right now. He's frustrated about that, and the Knicks are going to move him. They're dangling Fournier. They're dangling Grimes for him. As you can see right here, according to Michael Escato, they are dangling those two and draft compensation for a potential upgrade. I just don't think you should go for Bruce Brown because you got Josh Hart. There's enough similarity there. Go for a guy who can really shoot, like nearly 40% from three or something. Go for Malcolm Brogdon. Like, please. Please go for Malcolm Brogdon with those assets. Just, I'm begging you, Knicks. Please. Just please. Put Grimes next to Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson. Gives you defense, gives you shooting. He meshes really well with those two. He actually could play small forward in a smaller lineup that they use, but that could be fun. I think that works. They buy out Fournier. Fournier probably ends up signing with like one of the teams in LA or something. And then the Trailblazers get some draft compensation for it, probably in the form of second rounders, but they get something, and they also get Quentin Grimes. So kind of a win for them. I think that's what the Knicks should do. But if you look right here, with the unlikelihood of a blockbuster deal materializing until the summer, the Knicks, according to teams negotiating with New York, are focused on acquiring a ball handler and a big man because, among other reasons, Mitch's future remains in flux, as they say. It's just unclear if he's coming back this season, and then you never know what's going to happen after that. There's also a willingness to take on multi-year deals. They could be packaged in a later blockbuster. A source said the Mavericks have interest in Grimes. The Hawks are positioned to be active before the trade deadline. It would be a strong fit if they trade DeJounte Murray, because Grimes could really just replace Murray in that starting lineup right there. And there's no shortage of teams looking for plug-and-play 3 and D wings. All of that pretty accurate, I would say. And I do think that if the Knicks were to make a trade with the Mavericks who have interest in Grimes, you could move Fournier there. I know he's not as good as Tim Hardaway Jr., but you could sort of replace him with Hardaway in a few lineups. You can start Kyrie, Grimes, and Luka together. I mean, technically, Luka's the size of a small forward, even though he plays more of a point forward. Luka, Doncic, I run the show because I'm Luka role, which is fine when you're that good. That's what you do. I mean, LeBron is a small forward technically, but he is constantly playing point guard also. So, obviously, that's fine. I think that lineup could work. It adds much-needed defense, perimeter defense to the Mavericks. They've kind of been lacking in the perimeter defensive area ever since they traded Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie to the Nets in exchange for Kyrie. So that could be an interesting move. I think the Knicks could definitely go that way. It gives you Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench. You once again get elite bench scoring through Timmy. You get an elite shooter. He can create his own shot. He's not the worst passer ever also for a guy who kind of plays to his style. It would be his third stint in New York. I don't know how he would feel about that, but it is a new regime. It's a new team fully. I don't think there's anyone on the roster. Mitch. There's Mitch. Like, he's the only one who's currently on the Knicks roster who's ever been teammates with Tim Hardaway Jr., and it was Mitch's first season when he was a rookie and not really playing much until, like, he eventually got in the game, and we kind of realized that in the 2018-19 season, our 36th overall draft pick the year before was our best player. But we've come a long way since then. Julius is a baller, and Jalen Brunson's the greatest thing to ever happen in human history. So we got that going for us. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, or I'll be sad. And that's really it. Have a great day. Go Knicks.